Hello everyone. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nur Shafiz Amiti Mohammed Kamil. So for the Spark Foundation internship, I've chosen task 8, which is the timeline analysis on COVID-19. Basically for this task, we'll carry out an analysis on Asia, where we will focus on the trend of the confirmed cases, trend of the total death, and what might be the contributing factors for the COVID-19. Without any further ado, we shall proceed with our analysis. The first step that we had carried out for this analysis was to load the data on Python. Basically, the objective of this analysis is to first create a storyboard showing spread of COVID-19 cases. Second is to use animation, timeline, and notations to create attractive dashboards. Third, to identify interesting patterns and possible reasons of COVID-19 spread. Basically, the first step was to import the required libraries. Then we loaded the data set into Python. After loading data set, we have found that there are a total of 184,510 rows with 67 columns present in the data set. This is are the data types of the variables. We have changed the data type for date to datetime for our analysis on Tableau so that it will be easier to track on the timeline analysis. Based from the numerical variables, we are trying to find the mean value, what is the median value, what is the maximum value. However, there are too many numerical variables present in the dataset that it is impossible to read the entire information. So let's move on. The datasets consist from the date 1st January 2020 to 7th May 2022. The next step was to drop the unnecessary and redundant column. After dropping the unnecessary column, we still have for about 51 column present in the dataset for our analysis. The next step was to analyze the null values. Next is the percentage of the null values. There are no duplicated values present in the dataset. This is to find the unique values in each column. Basically for this is to categorize the data between categorical and numerical. There are 4 categorical data, which is ISO code, continent, location, and test units. And there are a lot of numerical columns, numerical data. Basically, correlation will be within a range of -1 to 1, where negative value means that both variables are negatively correlated, and positive value means that both variables are positively correlated. So this next is the heat map of the correlation. Basically, the darker the shade is the highly correlated, the lighter the shade is the negatively correlated. And there are a total of 56 columns present for the numerical data. Then we have imported our data set in Tableau. So let's move further with our analysis on Tableau. So the first sheet that we see here is our first dashboard. Basically, the objective is to see what are the trends or what are the patterns or what are the distributions of COVID-19 on a monthly basis from January 2020 to May 2022. From the year 2020 2022. So let's do this on a yearly basis, starting from the year 2020, then we will move on to 2021 and lastly on 2020. But first, let me explain to you, give you a brief explanation and what is this chart is all about. The first chart here is the distribution of new cases for COVID-19. The second chart is cumulative total death of COVID-19. Here you can see that the percentage of vaccinated people over population. The fourth chart is the stringency index. Basically, is a measure of a response matrix from the value of 0 to 100 on the strictness of government policies. Generally, the higher the stringency index of one country, it means the stricter its government policies of COVID-19. And this band consists of cumulative of total death as well as confirmed cases as of the selected month and year. The last one will be the top 20 Asia country on the confirmed COVID cases. So let's start with the year 2020. Let's see if we can see the trend or what is the pattern for the year 2020. Okay, there are few patterns which we can infer from the year 2020. The first, the number of new cases is increasing from the month of January and which it peaks on September, then reduce on October and slightly increase for the month of November and December. For the total death, it is gradually increased from the month of January to December. By end of December, there are total accumulated total of 9.8 million of total death and 592 million of confirmed cases of COVID-19. From this chart, we can see that by end of December, Israel has vaccinated 1.54% of its population. Bahrain had vaccinated 0.87% of its population. Based from the stringency index, we can see that from the marks here, you can see that the highest stringency index recorded by Sri Lanka with 100, followed by Georgia, followed by Jordan, India, Philippines, as well as Sri Lanka with 100 for the month of April, and Kuwait for the month of May. For the total cases in Asia by end of December 20, it leads by India with a total accumulated cases of 308 million and a total death of 4.4 million. Now let's see for the year of 2021 whether the trend is still the same, whether it is increasing, whether it is decreasing, or how different it is from the year of 2020. Let's see the trend. Okay, so there are a couple of incident patterns that we can see from here. The number of new cases is decreasing for the month of January and February and increase from the month of March to April and reach its peaks on May and drop on June and then again on August, increase till August and decrease till December. For the COVID-19 total death, it is gradually increasing from the month of January to December, and by end of December 21, there are total accumulated confirmed cases of 2.5 billion and 3.838 million of total death. In terms of vaccination, by end of December 21, Singapore recorded the highest vaccination with 86.68%, followed by South Korea with 84.65%, and then Cambodia with 81.17%. The highest stringency index recorded for the month of May in Nepal with 97.22%, followed by Mongolia with 96.32%. Actually, you can see from the trail here what are the marks of the stringency index. The lower the marks is recorded, the lower the stringency index of a country. And by end of December 21, India leads with a total accumulated cases of 1.07 billion and 14 billion of total death. So that's all for the year of 2021. Let's proceed with the year 2022. from the month of January to May. Let's see how is the trail for this 5 month. Okay. For the number of new cases, they are slightly increased from January to February and then reach its peaks on March and reduce and decrease from April to May. For the COVID-19 total death, there are slightly decreased from the January to February, then increase on March, slightly increase on April, and reduce on May. As of May 2022, Macau has vaccinated 91.43% of its population, followed closely by South Korea with 87.78. And for the stringency index, the highest stringency index was recorded by India for the month of January with 83.80. As of May 2022, as of 7 May 2022, there are 10 million death cases and 1.05 billion of accumulated COVID cases. And as of May 2022 as well, India leads the total cases with 301 million of COVID cases and 3.6 million of death. Basically, that is a very interesting pattern that we can see when for the year of 2020 and 2021, we can see that there is a increment of COVID-19 cases while slightly decreasing by end of this December 2021 to until May 2022. So let's move on to our next dashboard, where we will focus on the test administered, distribution of cases, percentage of death over population, as well as share of male and female smokers in COVID-19. Basically, the objective is to find whether there is a relation between those factors and COVID-19 and whether those factors contribute or affect the COVID-19 cases. So from the first chart, we can see that there was a decrease in the test administered from the month of June to March, then increase from the April, then again dip on May, then again increase on June to November. What we can infer from this chart is that there was an inconsistency in tests administered. Increasing number of tests administered, it might be an indicator that there is a new variant or COVID-19 is at peak at the other country, while the decreasing number of tests administered, it might be an indicator that there is no new variant present in the other country, as well as that COVID-19 is not at its peak. Now, from the second chart, the distributions of COVID-19 cases with age 43 million of cases with a median age of 28.2, followed closely by 17 million of cases with a median age of 43.4. From the third chart, we can see that Georgia has recorded 0.14% of COVID death over population, followed by Armenia with 0.12% and Iran with 0.08% and so on. And last but not least, for the male and female smoker share, the highest cases for both female and male smoker consists of only 20.60% share of male smokers and 1.90 share of female smokers. So that's all for our COVID-19 analysis. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any further inquiries, please feel free to email me at shafiza87@gmail.com. Thank you so much.